Environmentalism, a concept that has dominated the 21st century. In this generation, we watch our carbon footprint, monitor our meat intake, use reusable straws, and are overall a green positive generation. While for me it's obvious to make sure I make small efforts daily to help our planet, it has definitely taken a long time to get to this point. So where did it all begin? Or even more importantly, who did it begin with? There are countless environmental activists who have accumulated over the years, but one of the most vital starters of this movement was Rachel Carson. Rachel Carson was a famous marine biologist who gained fame for her book, Silent Spring, that informed the public about issues that pesticides caused our environment. Her keen interest in nature allowed for her to conduct vital experiments to prove there was needed change in the agricultural industry. Rachel Carson's discoveries of the damage of pesticides, the writing of her book Silent Spring, and her overall impact on the movement have paved the way for environmental change throughout our nation. In this speech, I plan to inform you all about Rachel Carson and how her discoveries and experiments have allowed us to learn so much more about our environment and how to protect it. And I've done a lot of research over the past few months, so hopefully that will translate. First, I'll be discussing Rachel Carson's discovery of the damage of pesticides, specifically in DDT. Rachel Carson's journey into the green movement began with her love of nature, which transitioned into a career in marine biology. From this career, she wrote several novels and informed the public about how all the realms of life and nature are intertwined. However, this career led to less harmonious discoveries. Her first main discovery was the effects of DDT. DDT, the most effective pesticide to ever be created. Not only the most effective, but the most dangerous as well. According to the Environmental Protection Agency, or the EPA, it was originally established in the 40s and was used for insect control in crop and livestock production, institutions, homes, and gardens. The use of DDT rapidly spread due to its effectiveness. However, new information was leading scientists to believe the pesticide was causing the disruption of wildlife. According to RachelCarson.org, in 1945, environmentalist Rachel Carson heard news that a large amount of birds were dying on the coast of Maine due to the sprayings of DDT, and she decided it was time to step in and put a stop to this environmental catastrophe. Carson's research into the damage of DDT would lead to her novel Silent Spring, which resulted in a revolution of the Green Party against pesticides and the chemical industry. After 4 years of extensive research, lab work, and experiments, Carson uncovered the horrors of DDT. The chemical could cause repercussions for animals and humans alike. Her lab work with fatty tissues revealed that DDT could cause cancer, tumors, and other genetic issues. According to Carson, single application on a crop, she wrote, killed insects for weeks and months, not only targeted the insects but countless more, and remained toxic in the environment. Carson's research was transformed into the book Silent Spring. In her book, Carson revealed the harsh realities of pesticides through her poetic words. As she stated in a chapter, A Fable for Tomorrow, Carson described an environment of nature and wildlife living in harmony until some evil spell had settled on the community. Mysterious maladies swept through flocks of chickens, the cattle and sheep sickened and died. Everywhere was a shadow of death. Carson, page 2. Even though the severity of the topic was slightly veiled through her fable-like depictions, the truth was there. Animals were dying, the environment was suffering, and this was a direct result of people's use of the pesticide DDT. According to RachelCarson.org, the book became an immediate bestseller and encouraged readers to question their roles in the environment and encouraged them to stop playing into the hands of the chemical industry. The result of this monumental novel led to the creation of new policies to protect the environment and informing the public on the severity of their use of pesticides. Silent Spring definitely sparked Rachel Carson's involvement in the environmental movement. However, she contributed so much more than merely her book. Rachel Carson's extensive research and her exposure on the danger of pesticides not only informed the public about these dangers, but it allowed for policies to be created to protect us and our environment. Because of Silent Spring, DDT was issued a cancellation by the EPA, and according to the EPA, is classified as a carcinogen. Due to Carson's exposing of the industry, we've been protected from these harmful chemicals for over a century. Not only has her book Silent Spring revealed so much information about the environment and how to protect it, but she's written several other novels as well that have had a great influence on our society also. She's written novels about important issues that are still affecting us today. For example, she's written about climate change and the importance of nature preservation in the book The Lost Woods, the discovered writing of Rachel Carson. She's written about rising sea levels, melting glaciers in the novel The Sea Around Us, and several other environmental issues that are still so valid even today. Rachel Carson has had such a great influence in the environmental industry and can genuinely be credited for sparking the Green Revolution. Carson's discovery of the harm of DDT and the writing of her monumental book Silent Spring and her overall influence on the environmental movement prove her significance as a role model for environmentalists everywhere. Due to her vast research and discoveries, Carson single-handedly prevented the possibility of damaging our ecosystems through pesticides. Her expertise in the movement even included issues that are still affecting us today, like global warming. Now our ozone layer is dwindling, sea levels are rising, forests are burning, and species are dying, but thanks to the experiments of Rachel Carson and her impactful book, she's paved the way for our generation to do our best to put an end to these issues. In conclusion, Rachel Carson is a catalyst not only for the movement itself, but for the world and the environment in general. Her work has done so much for our ecosystems, and for that, she is completely deserving of her title as the mother of the environmental movement. Thank you.